Okay, we're going to try this again.
Yeah, let's try it again.
We're going to try it again. You know what? Technology is fallible. Did you know that?
It sure is.
God's word is infallible.
That's right. At least the ark floated.
But yeah, that's true. But man's technology is fallible. So we're starting this again.
Yep.
We're down here at the ark.
At the ark.
Because it's been raining for the last couple of days.
Yeah, we had to rush to the ark.
Feels like it's been raining for 40 days and 40 nights. You know that?
You know, it seems like that's the Midwest for you.
I think people are going to be pouring in here today.
You know, I miss
I think there'll be a flood of people today.
There could be a flood of
what do you
people.
think?
Yeah.
I think it's going to rain people today.
It's pouring outside.
Yeah.
So
anyway, you would never know it inside the ark
I
here.
know. Yeah.
So this is
Nice
Bodie
drive.
Hodge, and Bodie's one of our speakers and writers, and well, you do all sorts of things, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we're on Answers News quite often.
That's true.
So,
You do
know,
Answers News with me and Dr. Georgia Purdom.
Yeah.
And you also contribute 4 of our grandkids
That's true.
to the 16
That is true.
that we have.
That's right.
So we're down here at the ark, and we wanted to talk today about mean.
Mean.
Are you mean? No, it's not spelled that way. It's spelled
That's right. It's
M-I-N.
M-I-N.
M-I-N. I want to talk to you about mean and
Right. And what does mean?
what does mean mean? That's what we're going to
That's
do
what we're
today.
gonna talk about
And
today.
we're going to talk about kinds and sort. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because one of the most asked questions that we still get asked, and it's one of the favourite exhibits here at the Ark, and we're live at the Ark.
At the Ark.
And we're inside the kinds exhibit. We're on the second deck. Actually, if you look outside here, you'll see some of the animals there in the cages. And we're looking right now down at some of those big cages here. And as you see those, I tell you what, it's incredible what our sculptors have done. But what we wanted to do is to talk about that particular question today, and that particular topic of kinds and kinds on the Ark, and how many animals were needed on the Ark.
Right. And could they have fit on the Ark?
Could they
that's
fit
one of
on
those
the Ark?
questions we get
And
quite often
what we
too.
want to do is to talk about what we call Answers Book 5.
Yeah.
Answers Book 5 is the flood of evidence. Actually, the 4 Answers books, see the Answers books here? The 4 Answers books are the biggest selling creation apologetics books in the world. The most asked questions.
And there's
that people
4 books,
ask today
but
with
you also
detailed
have a
answers,
flood of evidence
and
right
we have
down
flood of
there.
evidence because that's really Answers Book 5, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Bodhi, we're here in the kinds exhibit, and this particular book, The Flood of Evidence, you and I did together, and it answers the most asked questions about biblical aspects and scientific aspects concerning the Ark and the flood.
The
correct?
Ark and the flood. That's exactly because these are the questions we get when we go out on the road or when people come to the Ark. So, we thought, hey, let's put together a book because a lot of people wanted to have the answers to this. They wanted to have it all in one volume. And so we put that together. And it's been a powerful book. This book has been selling like hotcakes, actually.
It has. People really want those answers, and it equips people.
Yep.
And so I'm actually going to go live on my Facebook here as well, so if anyone has questions, they can ask us. Hey,
All right.
Okay, so, and we cover some of these issues in the book. Somebody said here, why did you make the animals so different than modern-day animals? Well,
That's a good question.
yeah, there are 2 reasons, right? And you can expand on these. One is, we actually wanted people to see some of the animals that are in the fossil record that aren't alive today, so they get to experience some animals they've never seen before.
That's right. That's one
And
good reason.
secondly, why can't we have the same sorts of animals we see today? Well, the same species.
Here, let me put it this way.
Okay.
When we picture Noah and his family, do we put a picture of Ken Ham up there?
I hope not.
No, because Ken Ham is a descendant ultimately of Noah.
Yeah.
And yes, we have variations within the kind. Clearly, Noah's a person, you're a person, I'm a person, and so forth.
Right.
But there is that variation. The same sort of thing is kind of the situation with the animals. We have 2 cats, for example. You like cats?
Cats. Here, over here.
Over here, yeah, we got
This is a
cats.
cat.
And,
in fact, this exhibit
you're not a big fan of
this
cats,
exhibit talks about leopards and the fishing cat and the lion and the lynx and the African wildcat and the domestic cat.
Cheetahs, things like that. These are all modern cats, like lions or even domestic house cats. But ultimately, those types of animals could interbreed with each other and hybridize. So what it was Noah had 2 cats on board the Ark. The cats we have today are the descendants and with the variation.
The Bible says Noah took 2 of each kind, 7 of some, or 7 pairs of some.
And that word for kind is the word
2
mean.
of each kind. And the word for kind shows up in Genesis 1 when God made the animals, the birds, after their kind. And it's the Hebrew word mean.
M-I-N.
M-I-N.
Right.
And
it's not a mean word.
It's not
well,
a
I
mean
guess
word,
it is
no.
a mean word.
And we would say that the Hebrew word mean equates more with phylum or class, family, genus, order.
Right. It would actually be
Species.
probably closer to the family level.
So family, class, order, family, genus, species. We would
Right.
say in most instances,
Right.
a kind, according to the Bible, is the family level.
Yeah, in most cases, not all instances. We do have instances where it is genus or particularly species,
Or
and
it
in
could
one
be
case we know it's an order,
like elephants.
like with the elephant kind. Yeah, that's
So in
part
here,
of that kind.
Here we have the cats, and there is one cat kind,
Right.
The family Felidae.
Yep.
Okay, and the same with dogs. There's one dog kind,
There's one dog
Canidae,
kind.
right? And you have all your different species of dogs.
Right.
So, in other words, the dog that went on the ark, that doesn't look like any dog I've seen
You know,
today.
it really does, and it's kind of small too. Because remember, you take the juveniles on board Noah's Ark. There's no sense in taking the older senior citizens, I guess, on board the Ark to repopulate the Earth afterwards. So they take the smaller
Well, God,
ones.
it's whoever God sent,
That's
And I
right.
suspect He wouldn't have sent the real old ones.
That's right. It makes a little bit
necessarily.
more sense on that. So, here at the Ark, we tried to do juveniles in as many instances as we could. So you're
God
gonna
would
see
send
that
young
sort of-
ones ready to populate the new world.
That's
in other
right.
words. Not babies.
But that's right. Well, think of the dogs. I mean, today we have poodles, we have wolves, we have coyotes or coyotes, depending on how you want to say that sort of thing. We have all these different domestic dogs. These are just the modern variations of the two dogs that were on board Noah's Ark. So, yeah, it was a good question. I'm glad
And,
they
and
asked
that's
that.
one of the questions that we answer in
the book.
The Flood of Evidence.
Correct.
And you can see up here, as we go through the exhibit here, how could Noah fit all the animals on the ark? And we want people to understand how many were needed. Actually, the deck below us, there's a cutaway exhibit of the ark.
Yes.
And we've got a list of all the kinds that our researchers have actually put together.
And that was a multi-year project with a multitude of scientists and researchers who really dove into that subject.
And we've overestimated the number of
We
kinds.
overestimated it. And that's what we want people to realize. We didn't try to overestimate. What we tried to do was be reasonable but have an overestimate.
And one of the reasons we did that is because there are extinct kinds, but you can't
Correct.
see them interbreed.
That's right.
And so what we list as
That's
separate
right.
kinds might actually be the same kind.
That's right.
And then today, for instance, bats. There's lots of species of bats, but we haven't seen them all interbreed.
That's right. They live in different parts of the world.
They're probably the same kind, but we've
Yeah.
listed them as separate. So actually, about 1,400 or so kinds.
Yes.
But
That's the number the researchers
It
have
could
come
even
up
be
with.
less than 1,000 ultimately.
Could be
but-
less than that, yeah.
Well, we've overestimated. So there's plenty of room on the ark.
Right.
And one of the things, by the way, here's an important one too. When kids come
Oh,
here to
kids
the
love
ark,
this exhibit.
So-
there's a lot of kid-friendly things here at the Ark, and I think kids love to come to the Ark. My
So-
kids do anyway.
all aboard, in each column, line up the animals Noah took on the ark. Well, he didn't take any of the sea creatures.
That's correct.
So
gotta
you wouldn't
flip
put
off
that
of
one there. So you wouldn't put that there. So you wouldn't put the turtles there.
Wouldn't put the
and
spiders.
Probably not.
Or the plants.
Yeah, didn't take the plants. So you're looking for land-dwelling, air-breathing animals here, right, that Noah took on the ark. And let me see. There we go. So, oh,
get
look,
it?
I got it right.
Lights up.
How about that? But again,
kids like
Bodie,
that stuff.
we answer these sorts of questions in
In the
Flood
book,
of
A Flood of Evidence. In fact, there's a whole chapter that explains there's a history to people trying to fit animals on board the Ark. We're not the first ones to try that sort of thing. We actually tried it for real when we actually built a real Ark. But people have done studies and calculations on this. Some people did maximum figures. I know Arthur Jones, back in the 70s, he predicted that there'd be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,000 kinds, somewhere around 2,000 individuals on board the Ark, in a technical paper he did back then. But later on, there was a researcher named John Wood-Marapi, where he decided he was really going to try to maximize the figures, and he used a smaller sized ark, and he tried to put the maximum numbers of animals. Instead of that family level, he decided to jump down one level and do genus level.
So way over.
So he was way overestimating, and he took food and water on, and all that stuff easily
and he can
fit
still
on board
fit
the
on,
smaller ark.
still
yeah.
fit on board.
So-
So let's just walk through this exhibit real quickly. Can you bring the answers book?
Let's
there
grab these.
with you, and just to show you here. So all this material has been very carefully researched. We have it in our books as well. So how could so few kinds become so many species? So that's another aspect of it, and we discuss that in the book too.
Yeah.
And that is that after the flood, you get two dogs come off, and then you get all these species of dogs, which is not evolution because they're still dogs.
That's right, they're dogs. They're just
And
variations.
actually, the research that Dr. Nathaniel Jensen has done in recent times and his book, Replacing Darwin, has shown that speciation can happen real quickly. In fact, just recently, it's been documented there's a new species of Darwin's finches in the Galapagos in something like 16 years.
Yeah.
It just shows you that can happen real quickly. So we keep up to date with that on our website and in the books that we have here. So as we go more through this exhibit here, why don't changes within kind support evolution? Well, evolution involves adding new information into genes, and that's what we don't see. We don't see that brand new information.
Let me explain it like this. Let's just say, in an evolutionary worldview, if you start off with something down here at the bottom, a single-celled organism, it's going to have to evolve up further and further, adding more information to become something like a dog. You have to get information for hair, for skin, for a circulatory system, for bones, and so forth. That's not the type of observations that we're seeing. What we see are variations within dogs. Some have longer hair, some have shorter.
And what happens is because of the immense information God put in the DNA, as dogs split up, different combinations survive better in different areas. You get different species.
That's right, and that's exactly what we expect after the flood, is animals are repopulating the earth, going in different directions.
And actually, we found now speciation is going on right now.
Yeah.
And we're now starting to realize it can happen very, very quickly. And when you think about it, the sad thing is kids in our public schools are indoctrinated. Oh, when you see this, this is evolution. What were they?
Right.
Dogs.
Dogs.
What are they?
Dogs.
What will they be?
Dogs.
What is this?
Same thing with the finches.
Is this evolution?
This is not evolution.
It's dogs.
This is
That's what it is.
speciation,
Yeah.
or the term natural selection. We see that used, with regards to these variations and changes. The problem is a lot of people are duped into believing that that means evolution. That's actually a bait and switch fallacy. They're switching over to an evolutionary worldview when they redefine things.
Somebody said here, such an amazing world-class exhibit with so much information and apologetics. And that's the emphasis in our books.
That's
there,
right.
Okay, the Four Answers books and
right.
the Flood of Evidence book, they are actually apologetics books, and so these are the biggest selling creation apologetics books.
They're not sitting in
the
order
world.
either here.
And we have, between all five, it'd be, 160, 70 of the most asked questions that people have.
That's right.
With answers so that they can equip coming generations so that they can answer the skeptical questions.
One of the things that's powerful about the Answers books as well as the Flood of Evidence, if you have a question, somebody asks you a question, you can go right to that chapter and read it. It's not like you have to read all the chapters ahead of time. You can go right to that one to get the answer you need.
So over here we have Archaeopteryx, which was once considered a transitional form, but it's just a bird. That's what it is. It's no longer considered a transitional form. It had claws on its wings, but there's even modern birds that have claws on their wings.
That's right. It's called a Haitson, if I remember. It looks like Hoatzin, but it's pronounced Haitson. But in the juvenile form, as it's growing, it actually has claws on its wings, and it'll climb trees. There's some incredible video footage you can see of it. One of the other unique features on Archaeopteryx is it had teeth. And I know you can't really see the teeth on here so much, but a number of ancient birds had teeth. Now, no modern birds that we know of have teeth. What they've done is they've lost that ability. But that gene is actually still there. Chickens are kind of like the lab rats of the bird world, and they were able to go in and trigger that gene, to turn that gene on.
And they grew teeth.
And they grew teeth in the embryological
so the gene
stage.
is already there. Hey, by the way, have you ever seen the program on television called Monk?
Monk, yes, I have seen Monk.
Okay, I think we have someone like Monk who just put a comment here.
Okay.
Because they're obviously OCD. Put those books in order. So can you grab them just so that we can
let me
help
put them in order here.
Because I know if you watch the program Monk, he gets all upset if things are out of order. So we have
Let's
to
see
put
if I
these
can
all
get
in
them.
order. So this person will be much happier to have them in order. And there we are. Okay. Is that better? Look at that.
There we go. And,
there we go.
You know what? We'll even put Flood of Evidence as number five right down there.
So there we have Answers book 1, 2, 3, 4, and Flood of Evidence number 5.
Yes.
Now look, they're not lined up. You're going to have to line them up
you know
nicely.
what? I am not a very good bookshelf.
No, particularly when you're holding a microphone in one
That's
hand.
right.
Before we go, we want to introduce you to one of Bodhi's relatives down here at the Ark. So here we go. Bodhi, this is one of your relatives.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
If you believe in evolution,
If you believe in evolution,
this
you
is
might
one of
think
your
that.
relatives. But notice here that we have the gorilla, the orangutan, the chimpanzees, the Australopithecus, the bonobo, and here's what we're saying. These are all part of the great ape kind.
That's right. They're part of
In
the
other
ape
words, there was the ape kind on Noah's Ark, and after the flood, you get
Whoa,
all of
so you're-
these different
you're telling
species
me-
within the ape kind.
You're telling me the ape kind and humans were on board the ark?
At the
Wow.
same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
You know what? Was it like that at creation too?
But there are only 2 of the ape kind.
Mm-hmm.
There was 8 of the human kind.
That's right.
Because there are 8 people.
That's right.
On board Noah's Ark.
That's right.
So there we are. We just wanted to show you this exhibit, talk a little bit about the flood of evidence, and somebody here said just ordered our library and put flood of evidence as number 5.
All
Great
right,
books.
there
There
we
we are.
go.
Somebody did that.
All right.
Excellent. And we
Yeah,
like
there-
to see
there-
like to see people sending all those emojis across.
Yeah.
Hey, can you send some more emojis across? Because
Yeah.
I'm feeling unloved without all those emojis.
Without all the
Someone said, "Hey guys, I'm from the state of Delaware. Always wanted to come and see you." And so
Yeah, good.
that person has a disability and isn't able to come. Well, you know what? It's great that we can actually
Yeah.
do these Facebook Lives like this, and they
Right.
can get to see
Well, you know,
over time lots and lots of the
Let
art.
me give people another little taste here, because all we did was talked about the ark kinds, and that's one of the chapters
Oh,
here
look,
in this book.
they love you, Bodie. Lots of hearts going
Oh,
across
all
the screen.
right. But some of the questions here, what about the size of Noah's Ark? What about the shape of Noah's Ark? Of course, we talked about how the animals fit.
Hey, I got an idea. How about over the next few days we do a couple more Facebook
We
Lives
could do
down here
some
at the
more.
Ark and answer some more of these.
And answer some more of these
I tell you
questions.
what, next time, how about next time we do the Flood Legends?
We could do flood
We'll
legends.
go to the Flood Legends
that's a big
exhibit.
question.
And then after that, what about the Ice Age? We'll do
We
that
can
as
talk
well.
about the Ice Age,
Yeah.
which was triggered by the
So
flood. Yeah.
keep watching my Facebook and make sure you're signed up to get the
Yeah.
notifications, because we do all sorts of Facebook
Yeah.
Live programs at different times.
That's right.
And so Bodie and I will do a couple
Look
more
at that, I
here,
caught
a
it.
couple more over the next few days, dealing with the Flood
Flood
of
of
Evidence book, which is our answers book, number 5. And just before we finish, let's go getting a little peek down the Ark, just to show people, because I know they love to look at the Ark, look all the way down the end there. And we're actually
I
here.
love the woodwork.
We actually started this before the Ark opened today,
Yes.
so that I'm not sure what the time is right now.
Yeah, and we're up above too. We're on the second deck.
We're on the second deck.
So,
we
nobody's made it up
we,
here
we
this
wanted
far.
to be here before the people got here.
Yeah,
And
it's tough to do these Facebook Lives at that time.
It is, because.
But we'll see what we can do, though.
So here's some more of those unique animals that we have here.
Yeah. We'll notice some dinosaurs in here.
Yes, we have some dinosaurs, because
Yep.
2 of each kind, and there were a number of dinosaur kinds. I think there could have been about 80 different dinosaur kinds.
Yeah, I think we have a max estimate
And,
about
and really, the
85.
word dinosaur wasn't invented until 1841.
Right.
It's just a word that puts particular types of land animals together in a group. That's all
That's
it
right.
is.
Yeah, based on their
So,
hip structure.
But the
generally.
evolutionists get all emotional about that, and
That's
they-
because evolution is one of their that's
they
one
have,
of their icons.
They have meltdowns about
Yeah.
us talking about dinosaurs. It's one of their icons, and they believe dinosaurs evolved into birds, so
That's
they get all
right,
upset
so-
about that. Hey, notice one of Noah's sons up there.
Yep.
Pouring,
I've
pouring
noticed
water in there, food in there, food in there.
food
actually.
down in the food.
Yeah.
But I've noticed people walk through here and they sometimes miss all the aspects and elements, especially when it's crowded.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons that I've talked to so many people say when I went to the Ark, it was great, but I need to go back so I can see more stuff. And even before we did this interview, it was neat. We were walking up here and Ken's like, "Hey, I didn't notice this detail on some." So even Ken sees new things when he
I know
comes to
that
the Ark.
it's amazing what our artists have done. There's all
They
if you,
really
if you
have.
just spend time looking through it. Actually, if you come back a number of times, I still see things in the museum,
Yeah.
and our artists are very clever in the way they've added
They
certain
are.
things in, and
Yeah.
there's a reason for everything. But anyway, I guess
right.
there's people who've been watching us from all over today, Bodie, and someone says,
Right.
"Love you both." Someone here that said they have autism. We've got a couple of people in our family in Australia. We're very familiar with that,
Right.
and we've got a number of our supporters who have children with autism.
Yeah.
And of course, we love to be able to work with those people. How much are those books in Australia? Actually, if you're in Australia, if you go to our website and go up to the right-hand side, you can change the country you're in, and you'll click on Australia, and you'll come up with the Australian online bookstore, and you'll find out how much they are there, because I'm not sure.
Right, yeah, you see the prices
But you can get them in
We can
Australia.
do the same sort of thing in England
In England,
and
United
Europe,
Kingdom, and
so-
we'll very soon have a website in Canada as well.
Yeah.
In fact, we already have all the books up there. It's just getting our online store done.
Well, I
So-
wonder if people realize the reach we have worldwide, because, we even have a Spanish ministry, one based out of Peru, one based out of Mexico now, and
It's true.
So, we're really reaching out.
Somebody said they came to the Ark last encounter, Ark encounter last October. Had an encounter with the Ark last October. And actually, we've got the West Village and East Village now,
Yep.
and they'll be open come spring. They close down for winter right
Yep.
now. Outside, we're building a 2,500-seat auditorium.
Yeah, I see.
Of course, there's not too many people working on that today with
with all the rain.
with all the rain
Yeah.
pouring down.
Right,
But hey, the gardens will spring back into life. We
Yep.
keep adding
It
new
won't be long.
gardens.
I started noticing buses back in the parking lot.
Yeah,
at the
it's,
Creation Museum.
numbers starting to
It's-
increase again.
it's
And we're
starting-
building picnic areas behind the Ark
Yeah.
for families on the way to the zoo. And then we're going to be expanding
And they're
the zoo.
expanding the zoo, yeah.
And we're also refurbishing the Special Effects Theatre at the Creation Museum.
Yes.
Lots of things that we're doing. We continue to upgrade. So with that, hey, we better
All right.
we better get going here.
All right. God bless you
So,
guys.